I'm Allie, and today on Plotopsy, we're diving into the survival and dread of Dead River with the written answers from author Brian J. Smith. Let's get started. What's a moment where everything goes completely wrong? All he wanted to do was get those kids to Texas like he promised, and then those three a-holes showed up and messed up their plans. How did you approach writing Colin's struggle with guilt and forgiveness? In order to write about Colin's struggles and his guilt is that I've been in a situation where everyone around me, like my family and friends, will forgive me for something wrong that I shouldn't have done, but the guilt is still there. It's something I've struggled with for a while, but I've managed to not let it happen again. What's something readers won't expect from this zombie story? There's a couple of twists at the ending, but I won't say what they are. You learn something about Colin and Teresa that you didn't know to begin with. What does this story say about forgiveness in extreme situations? I think in a situation like this, you want to do something good to remind yourself that you're still a good person no matter what you've done in the past. Some of the decisions we make in the past shouldn't define the person that we are today because we didn't have our heads on our necks when we made those decisions. They were made out of either fear, loneliness, sadness, and anger, and when we realize what we've done, we'll do what we can to fix it. What makes this stand out from other apocalypse books? This is about someone who is trying to seek forgiveness and doing something good for someone else while navigating through a world that is no longer the same. How do you balance action with emotional weight in a story like this? That's a good question, by the way. In the scene where Colin watches someone, who will not be named, die in Dora and Timmy's basement is a good example of this. The emotional impact of that death paved the way for another character to rise up and act like they were supposed to. The action behind that would have been if they'd gotten their hands on the people who caused that character's death and killed them themselves, instead of giving them the punishment they deserved. How does the presence of the baby change the group's decisions? The group's decision was made up before they left the frat house that no matter what, Jason and Rosie were going to survive, whether Colin, Teresa, Dominic, and Pixie died or not. How did your love of zombie stories influence this book? I watched the original Night of the Living Dead at the age of 15, and it opened me up to a new world of horror. I'm Generation X, and I remember being in the first grade when the slasher genre was starting to unfold. My love of the zombie genre grew when I picked up a copy of Brian Keene's The Rising and Joe McKinney's Dead City novels and getting my literary butt kicked. I have to credit those novels, along with Keene's Dead Sea, as the inspiration for this novel. Is this more about survival or what survival does to people? I like to think it's half and half. Surviving in a hostile wasteland like the zombie apocalypse wouldn't be easy for anyone, because knowing what went on before the dead arrived and what is still going on after will have a psychological effect on anyone. Survival is crucial in times like that, but it can also cost you your sanity in the process and drive you to do things that you wouldn't do any other time. Is there a moment where readers might struggle to forgive Colin, just like he struggles to forgive himself? If there was ever a moment where people never forgave Colin for what he struggled forgiving himself for what he did, is the moment they find out what he did. If they do, then I need to shake their hand, because some people would forgive themselves if they'd done what he did. Thank you so much to Brian J. Smith for the wonderful answers, and go check out Dead River. I'll link it in the comments below. Join us next Saturday for another Plotopsy.